Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Quantitative Bites. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everyone's okay. Today, I just wanted to make a note of some of my thoughts on using Linux. If you've been watching my previous videos, then you'll know that I use Linux. I actually run Linux exclusively. I don't dual boot. I don't have Windows or any other operating system on my machine. I really actually just use Linux, and that is also the only machine that I have. So I am 100% Linux. And I have been actually now for the last 12 months, and I thought it would be interesting just to talk about some of my thoughts and how I found that transition from being from Windows to Linux and everything. So, I mean, the story very briefly is that about a year ago, my laptop suffered a catastrophic hard drive failure. I just picked it up, literally just picked it up at the wrong time to move to go and work somewhere else, and yeah, destroyed the boot sector on the hard drive, wiped out the operating system. And yeah, so luckily most of the data was okay. I was able to grab an Ubuntu Live DVD. Yeah, so I was able to recover most of my data with that. And then I installed a new SSD and decided, since I've got the Ubuntu Live DVD here, let's just try it. Let's just go a 100% Linux install and see what happens. So that's what I did. And to be honest, here we are, 12 months on, and I haven't looked back. Which I was surprised about. Initially, I kind of thought, well, I'll just do this for 2 or 3 months and we'll see how it goes, and then I'll probably maybe dual boot with Windows 10 or maybe just go back to Windows completely. But in the end, I didn't. And ultimately, I've really found that there hasn't been anything really that I've needed to do with my computer that I couldn't do with Linux. Nothing has sort of made me feel like, I really wish I had Windows. Now, I mean, just to put a bit of background onto that, I have used Linux before. I'm actually from an engineering background, so I used Linux quite a lot in the past, and I've dual booted it with systems before in the past, although prior to this I was really only running Windows, admittedly version 8.1, not Windows 10, I know. So some of the comparisons here may not be so valid with Windows 10. I don't know about that. I was already a little bit familiar with it, but even so, I was surprised actually at how everything really just worked. Right from the initial install, when I first got the new SSD and I installed Ubuntu Linux onto that, everything pretty much just worked out of the box. I had some initial problems with MATLAB, which I use for my day job, to do with OpenGL performance. But then that only took a standard Linux system update and everything was resolved. And now to be honest, it actually works better than it did before. And the reason for that is quite interesting. So the drivers that I had for my hardware, which is a little bit old now, were no longer supported by ATI. So I couldn't, update them. So the Windows drivers I had for my video hardware were well out of date and there wasn't really anything I could do about it. But with Linux, of course, the Mesa drivers are open source. So they're kept much more regularly up to date and everything else. And to be honest, they're better. So I get better OpenGL performance now with Linux certainly in MATLAB than I did with Windows, which is fantastic and was a very pleasant surprise, I have to say. But apart from that, really everything really worked. So here we are, a year on, and what do I think? I mean, one of the questions that I hear a lot of people ask, when they think about Linux is sort of like, will I be able to carry on working with my work colleagues that use Windows? And that is a problem that I face. I use Linux, but no one else in my sort of working environment does at the moment, my current working environment anyway. And so they all use Windows and they use Microsoft Office and things like that. But again, to be honest, that's not really been very much of an issue. So people send me Word documents that, I need to look at and stuff. And LibreOffice, the office suite that comes with Ubuntu Linux, is okay. The word processor app included within that does a pretty good job of reading Word documents. Occasional issues with formatting, but nothing serious. So if you only need to read a document, really no problem at all. I've never had an issue with that. In terms of actually creating documents, yeah, it's not so good. I do use it, and in my personal opinion, it isn't really a proper substitute for Microsoft Word. It is nothing like as polished or as refined as Microsoft Word is. In my personal opinion, it's fully functional, and like I say, it reads Word documents and displays them without much difficulty. But when it comes to document creation, I personally don't feel it's really completely up to the job. Luckily for me, my employer, they use Office 365, so I actually have access to all of the Office apps through the web. So if I really need to edit a Word document and send it back to someone, for example, then I can just use that through the web interface, and I can access everything and use Microsoft Word through the web, and I can do that, and there's really no problem. And it's very transparent, so none of my work colleagues, I don't think any of them have really noticed that I'm using Linux and not Windows. So there haven't been any issues there at all. What I find now, if I need to create documents or reports, or I need to create a presentation, I actually do everything in LaTeX. Now, I've used LaTeX before. Again, as I said, I come from an engineering background, and actually many more years ago than I would care to mention, I wrote my PhD thesis in LaTeX. So I have quite a lot of experience with that for document preparation, and it's really very nice to use. I like using LaTeX. I really understand that for some people, the whole thing that feels like you're programming to create your document, because you create your document just in a plain text file and you use certain commands and codes and things to specify the formatting. I understand for a lot of people that's going to be a bit too much when they just want to make a document. If you're really used to something like Microsoft Word, that is going to feel quite strange. Personally, I quite like it, but that's really just me. The other thing I really like about LaTeX is that it just makes really nice looking documents. I can't really explain it if it's just down to it's more than just the fonts, and I don't know, somehow documents prepared in LaTeX just have a way of looking really nice. That's out of the box default formatting with LaTeX, but it doesn't take very much to create LaTeX documents with the same margins and general layout and formatting of a Word document, but somehow still they look better. I don't know why. I don't know if it does a smarter job of spacing when you do full justification, or exactly what it is. Somehow it just, to me, I think, just looks nicer. I also now use LaTeX to prepare presentations, which is a little bit cumbersome, and certainly when you get started doing it, it lacks the fluidity of creating presentations using something like PowerPoint, but it's perfectly serviceable, and I find works quite well. It also creates a presentation as a PDF, which gives greater compatibility. Obviously, all computers nowadays have PDF viewers, so you're good to go on just about any system, which I think is an advantage over a PowerPoint file. Of course, you can't do all the fancy animations and that kind of thing that you might do if you were using PowerPoint, but personally, I've always felt that those things are really more of a distraction in a presentation than a benefit. I think, really, if I'm giving a presentation, I should be the focus of that presentation, and I want people to be listening to me. The slides are there to be a visual aid. They're not really there. I don't want them to be a distraction from me. So I've never used those animation features and that kind of thing very much anyway. So, that hasn't made any difference really to me. One of the biggest areas, though, where I found difference between Windows and Linux, and as I say, I was using Windows 8.1 previously, so I don't know if this applies as much to Windows 10, but I found Linux handles things much better if I'm really pushing my computer to its limits. So, as I've mentioned on some of these videos before, in my day job I regularly deal with large volumetric imaging data sets, which I handle in MATLAB and also in C++, and I quite regularly push to the limits of my 8GB of RAM, and I push my quad-core processor max out 100% on all the cores. And if I used to do that on Windows, if I maxed out all of the CPU, with Windows, everything would just stop. I mean, it would keep going, it would do the work, but it wasn't possible to do anything else on the computer at the same time. It was basically a case of firing up the calculation, the process that it was I wanted to run, and then going off and making a cup of tea, reading a book for a while or whatever, and coming back when it was finished. Now with Linux, I still do that. I still go and make a cup of tea, right? Whenever you run a big job like that on a computer, it's a really good time, I feel, to go and make tea. So I still do that. But should I actually need to do something else on my computer, something light, if I need to pop open a web browser to look something up or whatever while it's working, even if all 4 cores are maxed out to 100%, Linux manages that somehow, and it just works, and I can still bring up the web browser and I can do something, whatever, and nothing falls over, nothing crashes, nothing hangs up, nothing goes weird, and it's just nice. I don't know why it's so much better doing that than Windows was, and like I say, maybe Windows 10 is better than Windows 8.1 was at doing that too. I don't know, it probably is. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments below. And the other thing is with RAM. So I quite regularly used to max out, and I still do, I quite regularly max out the 8GB of RAM I have. And whenever I do that, or whenever that used to happen with Windows, basically everything would fall over. It would just suffer kind of a catastrophic failure and the whole system would just go down. And the number of times I had to do a forced hard reset to get anything back so I could use my computer again, well, I lost count. And it was always really annoying, and I was always having to be really careful to make sure that I didn't go near to that 8 gigabyte physical limit. This is despite having swap configured and everything else. Somehow, for me, Windows 8.1 just wasn't really able to cope with that. Again, this may be different with Windows 10, I don't know. So with Linux, though, I found that it seems to handle things much more sensibly. So first off, out of the box, Linux has a fairly small swap file configured, but what happens if you exceed that, or if you exceed the available RAM, is Linux just terminates the offending app. So if I'm using MATLAB and something in MATLAB, allocates a big block of memory and it exceeds both the physical RAM and what's available in the swap, Linux just terminates MATLAB. It just goes away. Now, fair enough, you lose whatever you're working on in MATLAB or whatever other app you're using, but everything else that you've got going on your computer is untouched. So I think that's really sensible, and I don't really know why Windows can't deal with things that way. The other thing is that it's very easy to reconfigure a larger swap file in Linux. So I actually reconfigured it to 10 gigabytes, which on top of the 8 gigabytes of physical RAM that I have gives me more than enough. And yeah, it just works really well. If it has to go into using the swap, if I do something that needs, more than or approaching the 8 gigabyte limit or slightly more than that, the operating system Linux, it really seems to cope very well with that. It pushes things out to swap, and yeah, everything's fine. It's not really a problem. It doesn't cause everything to grind to a halt the way it used to happen for me with Windows 8.1. Again, I don't know why it's different. It's a lot better. And given the nature of my work and things, this, to be honest, has been really a big advantage to me. So it means I can run much bigger things now without having to always worry about whether I'm going to push up to the limit of my available physical RAM. So that's been really nice. So to be honest, really, here I am 12 months on, and I'm kind of struggling to think of reasons why I might ever actually want to go back to Windows. There are one or two caveats. So one of the things I found is that USB hubs don't seem to work properly with Ubuntu Linux. And looking on Stack Exchange and things like that, I find other people say the same thing, and the general advice seems to be to simply not use them. My laptop has quite limited USB ports, so that's not really possible. So I manage, and it does work, but maybe there's something I can do with the, drivers or whatever that would improve that. To be honest, I'm not sure. But I get by. And the other thing that I found doesn't work for me at all is webcams. So external webcams. The internal one in my laptop works perfectly. So I use that for video conferencing with Skype and things, and that's good. But for doing videos like this, that's not of a high enough quality. So I would need to use, an external full HD webcam ideally to do that. And I used to do that in Windows, but for some reason, I've never managed to get a webcam to work properly in Ubuntu Linux. I don't know why. Other people on the, on various websites say that they can and it's fine. But for me, somehow that's never worked. I don't know. Anyway, it's a minor thing, but that's the reason why you don't see me in my coding videos. So when I'm doing the coding thing in my coding programming tutorial videos, you don't see me on the screen at the same time, the way some other YouTubers do. And it's because I just not managed to get a webcam to really work properly. So I mean, apart from those two issues, really the only thing that I miss about having Windows on my system is, to be honest, PowerPoint. I always quite liked PowerPoint. It's quite good for knocking together quick illustrations, quite good for making presentations and things. And if I'm honest, yeah, I do miss it a bit. It's fine being able to make presentations in LaTeX, but it isn't really the same. So I do miss that very slightly. But that's really not a big deal. And I find what I can do now, if I need to make illustrations and things, I use Inkscape, which is very good. And to be fair, I did use Inkscape on Windows as well. So I'm quite familiar with that as a package for drawing and making illustrations and things. But it's good. It's good. It really does the job. One caveat to all of this, of course, is that I've been able to make this transition because the software that I need to use for my day job is available for Linux. So MATLAB is, of course, available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. And yeah, so I mean, that was lucky. If that hadn't been the case, then of course there's no way I could have switched to Linux. It just wouldn't have been a possibility because I would have needed to maintain that support for my day job. But, so I was lucky. So whether or not this applies to you will depend very much on what software you use. and whether you use software that supports Linux or not. I guess that's really going to come down to you. If you're thinking about switching to Linux, I would suggest think about it carefully and think about the software that you use and have a look. Is it available for Linux or not? And of course, the easy way to go is do a dual boot. I'm not the person to ask for advice on how to do that, but dual boot, if you dual boot with Windows and Linux, then you have the best of both worlds. You can switch between them. I know about Windows subsystem for Linux, but I don't really know very much about how that works or functionally what that really gives you. So I'm not going to comment on that. In theory, I suppose that really would deliver the best of both worlds, Windows with a Linux subsystem. I mean, that sounds awesome. Whether or not it really works that well in practice, like I say, I just don't know. So I'm not going to express any opinions on that. And, well, there we go. That's pretty much everything I wanted to say. I mean, listen, I'm guessing some of you out there have your own thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I'd really love to hear from you, actually. It'd be good to have some kind of a discussion about this. If you're also 100% Linux like me, or if you really hate Linux and just use Windows, or if you do a dual boot, you use Linux for some things, Windows for some other things, let me know. It would be great to hear, what's going on out there. And it only really leaves me to say that, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Please remember to subscribe to my channel so you don't have to miss any future videos. Listen, it's been a pleasure. I hope it's been useful. And like I say, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.